based on Rick Warren's view of worship. I need to base my life on God's view of worship. What is His view? Is there things that I think is worship that God doesn't like? Are there things that God's expecting from me in my worship that I'm not doing? It's God's view of worship that's important. It's God's view that matters. As much as I would like to sit here or stand here and say, this is worship, that's not, and everybody do what I say doesn't matter. It's what God's Word says. If I tell you that worship is just all about singing, you should know right away I'm wrong, because God looks much more than just singing, that's all that worship is. Or worship is only just serving God. And no, that's wrong, because God looks at more than that. Worship has to become all that we are. That we are His worshipers. The passage is not in here, and I probably won't correct it right, but I do know that it comes from John chapter 4, when Jesus talked with the woman at the well, and He said that true worshipers worship God in spirit and in truth. Not just at church, not just with singing, not just with giving, not just with doing, but in spirit and in truth. That's all that we become, and that's who we are. I got you another quote from A.W. Tozer, just because he was on my brain this week, and it just kind of hit home. He says that I fear that there are many professing Christians, wow, who do not want to hear such statements about busy schedules, about real worship. We're busy. I can't give God my whole heart and a willing mind. I got a job. No. But it is the truth. God is trying to call us back to that for which He created us. To worship Him and enjoy Him forever. He's got another quote that I kind of like showing, that I didn't use, but I'm going to share it. He said that anybody that doesn't really like to worship isn't probably ready for heaven. Because that's really all we get to do there. So if worship seems so mundane and worship seems so boring and so dumb or so empty, you got to have a change of heart, because that's kind of what we get to do in heaven, like forever and ever. And throw another ever just in there, because it's kind of hard to say how long eternity is. It goes on and on. That's what we're going to do. We're going to worship God. Gather around His throne. We're going to worship God. That's why God created us. So that we can worship Him and enjoy Him forever. So to worship God, we've got to know Him. Right? Say yes. All right. To know God, we've got to understand Him. Right?
Yes.
Chan? Right? Yes. All right. Although, see, anybody like Leonard Skinner? Anyway, that would be kind of cool, I don't know, I think it'd be kind of cool, big angel band, but we got to let it define us. We cannot define who Jesus is, or I picture my Jesus as. All right, so let's, to know God, we got to understand Him, and to understand God, last point, we got to commit to a life for God. Understanding God does not come, here, listen. Understanding God does not come in kneeling down at teen camp, at the altar, or praying one time, Jesus, I'm sorry for my sins, please forgive me. That is not committing your whole life to Him. That is accepting God's gift of salvation. What you do with that gift, and what you do after that, is your commitment to God. That's your commitment. The day after you got saved. And then the next day, and then the next year, how you let God work in you, and how you let God build you up, and how you serve Him and worship Him. Romans 12, 1 and 2. It says, so dear brothers and sisters, I plead with you to give your bodies to God, because of all He has done for you. Let them be a living and holy sacrifice, the kind He will find acceptable. This is truly the way to worship Him. Don't copy the behavior and customs of this world, but let God transform you into a new person by changing the way you think. Then you will learn to know God's will for you, which is good and pleasing and perfect. Why do we know God? You already know the answer. Why do we know God? The last one.
Like, we know God so that we can like Him.
Yes, thank you. Know God, make Him known. I know God so I can make Him known to others. You want to get at the heart of worship? That's the heart of worship. And see, it all comes back to this. That for us to just say, I want to know God. And I want to make God known. And if you really just want to say, what is worship? That's what it is. Inviting your friends to go to church with you, or actually to hang out at your house and then go to church with you. And I think in the interview I saw, there was food involved and dinners and gas money and, to do all that. Just so you have the opportunity to make God known. God says, that is what I'm talking about. That is worship. That's what it means to be consumed. Consumed. I want to take the time this morning and for us to just kind of let's take a look at ourselves. And let's just make sure that today, you've heard some great testimony, and that's powerful stuff. Let's just make sure today that we can at least get the first part of that down right, that we know God. And if you're sitting here this morning and say, I know God, well then, let Him start working in you so you get consumed, that you want to make Him known. As Clay wanted to make Him known to his friends, and you can with your co-workers and your families and your friends. The same thing. Clay, I'll tell you, your story has inspired me about our own youth group. And that is something that me and Andrew talked about on the way home from camp. Andrew was blowing up his phone. I know his mom's not happy about it, but we're going to tell her what really happened. He's trying to help the church, so I've got to put him on staff and all this kind of stuff so we get him a phone. It's the same thing. It's my desire for my daughter Dina. It's my desire for all of our kids that they would just know God so well that they feel consumed to make Him known. That's why we pass out milk. That's why we knock on doors, just to make Him known. I want you to take an inventory today. Where am I with God? Is there something in my life that keeps me from knowing Him to the way that He wants me to know Him? Now, I'll tell you the truth. I have to keep my attitude in check sometimes. Hey, things can creep in, and before you know it, I'm away from God and away from where He wants me to be. I got to take an inventory.